Hi, my name's Anthony Shivari, and today I'm going to be showing you how to file W-2s as an accountant in VEI. So, starting off, we're going to just start with the basics. As you should have done in accounting task number 10, you should have filed for a payroll register template. And once you have this does most of the work for you. So, I just downloaded it. It's under accounting task 10. And it's very simple to set up. The only thing I've done here is I have put in some employee names. So I've got Bill, Dave, and Nick. So Bill makes $2,000 in gross pay, and he puts 10% away just for round numbers. And here we have his net pay. And Dave does $3,000, Nick has $4,000, yada, 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 just to use different numbers. And what we want to do is we want to fill this out all the way up until December. Now you can copy and paste these. The only thing is you need to make sure that there's no pay changes, promotions, demotions, anything like that, because that will totally screw up this next form. So once this is all filled out up until December, don't have to do January, you want to go to down here. There's two different tabs. There's the 2020 W-2 and the 2021 W-2. When I first got it, it said 2019 to 2020, and that was incorrect for the year, so I changed it. But really, it doesn't matter. You just want to do the first one because that's October to December. And as you can see, we have all the information we need. And all we need from this document right now is we need to take this whole thing, and we just need to copy it. Press Control-C, and you can see that the bar goes around. And that's really all we need for this template. So after we do that, we're going to minimize that, and we're going to open a completely separate document. And we're going to call it an Excel worksheet. So I'm just going to name it W-2 template. You can name it whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. And this is 100% completely blank. This is not something you download. This is not something you need at all. And we're going to press Control-V. The only issue is when you press Control-V, you can notice that from here, this is not correct. All these numbers are wrong. The employees aren't even listed here. And I honestly can't tell you why. It just does that automatically. It's probably something with the formulas. But what we want to do is we want to go to Paste Options right down here. It'll have a control thing. And if we go to Paste Values, it'll be the first one. It's Paste Values Only. So you click it, and bam, everything's fixed. So as you can see, it's not in the ideal formatting, and I'll tell you not to worry about that, and I'll explain why in a minute. But also note that at the end of the video, I'll have a bonus tip on how to email these W-2s to your friends instead of just passing them out, which is really snazzy and really easy if you want to look fancy and you have the time. But that's pretty much all we have to do for this part. And now we are going to save as. Now here's where it gets a little confusing. We don't want to save it as an Excel workbook anymore. We want to save it as a CSV comma delimited. And this is a format that changes it so that the computer can now read the values. It's more or less for the user. So that's why I told you don't worry about the formatting, because once you put it in this form, it will delete the formatting every single time you leave and save. So that was my little words of wisdom to you there. You click save, and it will automatically tell you this. Don't worry about this. It's basically just saying save a copy just in case, but we already did. So we are going to X out of this now. This is done. And we are going to go into the second document we should have downloaded in the beginning. And that is the Accounting Task 16 Reference Sample W-2 form. And this can be found under the Accounting Task 16. I think it's filing W-2s and W-3s. W-2s are due out to people on January 31st, and W-3s are due, I believe, April 15th. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, you get to this page. It looks completely blank, and it looks like you got to fill in everyone's information. But fortunately, you don't. They did a wonderful job at creating this template. So with that list that we created, we can just plug in these numbers and it can go. So we're going to go to the Mailings tab, and this is relatively new in Word, but it's pretty awesome. And we're going to go to select recipient, and from here you can see the use existing list. Now this is where the computer needs to read the document as opposed to the user. So go to wherever you saved this, make sure you click the CSV form, double click it, and you can see that now it has all these tags: records, gross, federal state tax, taxable income, all that good stuff. And now we're going to double check that everything went in smoothly. So if we go to edit recipients list, you see everybody here. So you got your employee number, the employee, the gross pay, Social Security, Medicare, all that good stuff, and it's perfectly matched up with the title. The only thing not to worry about is this last one, and it is M_401k. It's because the computer doesn't like having a number leading in there, so it doesn't like 401k. So whenever it has that, it puts in M_blank, and that just helps the titles. So you can see that that will match up with everything. Now, obviously, you don't want to accidentally send out a bunch of false documents that are totally broken, so you want to check for errors. So what I do, there's two ways to do this. I'll show you my favorite. The first one is you can preview results. You can click preview results, and you can see it says 1, and then it has all the information for Bill, which is employee number 1. And then you can use the slider up here to say 2, and then Dave, and that's the next guy, and then 3, Nick, which is the next guy. And you can do that, and you can check all through that, and it works. But my favorite way is to use the check for errors. So if you press check for errors, and you click the bottom one, this will open a new window with each individual one open, and you can see all the data on there. So I'll show you what that looks like. So here we can see we have Bill's, we have Dave's, and we have Nick's. And keep in mind, you can do this with as many people as you want. I just use 3 for the sake of the video. So if I use like 28, like a general one, it would take way too long to do everything. So I just did 3 for simplicity. And we can see now that it's all correct. And from here, we can just print it out, safe and sound. Or if you didn't want to check for errors for whatever reason, you could just skip straight to the finish and merge, and then print documents. And this will give you the option all current record or from. So the all is obviously all of them. The from current record, since I'm on employee number 3, it'll print only employee number 3. And then the from is just a range. So if you wanted to do like 1 to 2, I only want 1 and 2, but I don't need the third. You can do 1 to 2. But that's basically all that is. So I'm not going to print it out because I already have it printed out. And that's pretty much it for that bit. So stay tuned, and I will show you how to email this to your friends, which is a very cool way to do it. And I personally like it because it's much easier. People don't lose things as easy if it's in their email as opposed to it written down. So okay, so this is the part in the video where we want to email it to people instead of just passing it out by paper. It just looks cooler, and it's a lot more organized that way. So what we're going to do, we're going to make one minor edit, and that is in this one. Make sure it's the CSV file. The Excel really doesn't change anything. So if we go into that, you can see I added another column that is going to be necessary, and that is in the J column. We're going to call it email. And this is where we are going to put everybody's individual email. I use Outlook, so what we do is we just type in the name and it'll come up with the email address for that person, but however you want to get it is fine, just as long as you have it. These are a bunch of generic ones. They are probably not real. I just use them as a proof of concept. So once we do that, we're going to do pretty much the exact same thing we did before. We're going to open this reference document. We're going to go to mailings. We're going to select recipients, use existing list, and we are going to go to the W-2s, the CSV file. This is only coming up because I have the application open, as you can see in my toolbar. Just press open, read only, copy only. It's fine that way. And this will show up exactly the same except for one thing. If you go to the Edit Recipients list, you can see that there's now a new column called Email, and you can see every single person's email in here. And this is where it's going to send stuff. So this is very useful, especially if you have a lot of people. And for me, I'm on the hybrid schedule, so I don't see everybody. That's where this really came in handy. So if you press OK, you are definitely going to need these check errors, preview results, because you don't want to be sending faulty information to anybody without even like seeing it in print and being like, oh, wait, that's an issue. So once you check for errors, we already checked for errors, so I'm not even going to bother with that. We're going to go to finish and merge, but instead we're going to go to send email messages. And the to bar is basically the column that we want to send this to. So yeah, we called it email, so it's going to send to the email bound for each one. The subject line is just whatever you want people to see when they open your document. So I'm going to call it W2 form. Maybe put do not delete, something like that. And then the mail format is just how do you want it displayed? Do you want it plain text, HTML, which to my understanding I think is like a picture, so you can't edit it. I always do it as an attachment so they can interact with it. And this is exactly like from before, the all current record or from and to. You press OK, and what it'll do is it'll come up with this little thing. And you press allow, and at first it will look like the program is crashing. You can see Word not responding, but it actually is. It's just running this. This is just saying, hey, this program is trying to send something on behalf of your Outlook account. Are you allowing this? And that's exactly what this is doing. And the reason I'm clicking allow so much is because it will basically ask me to allow for every single email being sent out. So I had, 3 people, so it'll ask me to allow 3 times. So this should be the last one. I'll click allow, and you can see Word should go back to normal in a minute here. And we're done. It's all sent out. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope this saved you a headache. This was a huge headache figuring it out. If even one person doesn't struggle because of this, then my job is done. But anyway, if you have any questions, please ask Mrs. Dunlap. She's really good at it. And have a nice day. Bye.